Welcome to Important Moments in Literature, a series of readings and short commentaries from important novels in literature and history by Professor David A. Hinkhouse, a Bare Bones production. Thanks for listening and enjoy. Hello, welcome to my new reading series, Important Moments in Literature. Have you ever wanted to know about an important novel in literature, but have never yet had the time to actually read it? When it comes up as a subject in a conversation, you feel embarrassed to admit you have not read it, though the whole rest of the group almost knows it by heart, and talks about the main characters as if they're best friends. My new Important Moments in Literature series will help you cope in a world that just moves too fast for you to, actually read the whole novel. I am choosing important novels and important passages in those novels to at least familiarize you with some of the meatier sections of the novels, sections that reveal the thrust of the author's purpose for having written it, sort of skipping to the chase, so to speak. So, sit back and enjoy listening and walking away with some pretty important morsels of literature that will help make you wiser and more aware of the intellectual world around you. Oh, and just maybe, you might actually want to read the whole novel someday, if you like what you hear. Thanks for listening. Hello, I'm going to read to you today from a novel written by Franz Kafka called Metamorphosis, a very famous novel and one of the most important novels of the 20th century. Some people say even the most important novel. But the jury's out. We're going to read from the beginning of the book, the opening sentence, which is rather ominous and very powerful, and then a skip to a description of what it's like for Gregor to wake up and go to work. And on this particular day, he doesn't get up on time. And it's a very succinct description of what it's like to wake up at torturous hours of the morning to go off to a job that you don't particularly care for. When Gregor Samson woke up one morning from unsettling dreams, he found himself changed in his bed into a monstrous vermin. Oh God, he thought, what a grueling job I've picked. Day in, day out, on the road. The upset of doing business is much worse than actual business in the home office. And besides, I've got the torture of traveling, worrying about changing trains, eating miserable food at all hours, constantly seeing new faces, no relationships that last or get intimate. To devil with it all. He felt a slight itching on top of his belly, shoved himself slowly onto his back, closer to the bedpost, so as he was able to lift his head better. Found that itchy spot, studded with small white dots, which he had no idea what to make of, and wanted to touch the spot with one of his legs, but immediately pulled it back, for the contact sent a cold shiver through him. He slid back into his original position. This getting up so early, he thought, makes anyone a complete idiot. Human beings have to have their sleep. Other traveling salesmen live like heron women. For instance, when I go back to the hotel before lunch to write up the business I've done, these gentlemen are just having breakfast. That's all I'd have to try with my boss. I'd be fired on the spot. Anyway, who knows if that wouldn't be a very good thing for me. If I didn't hold back for my parents' sake, I would have quit a long time ago. I would have marched up to the boss and spoken my piece from the bottom of my heart. He would have fallen off the desk. It's funny, too, the way he sits on the desk and talks down from the heights to the employees, especially when they have to come right up close on account of the boss's being hard of hearing. Well, I haven't given up hope completely. Once I've gotten the money together to pay off my parents' debt to him, that will probably take 5 or 6 years, I'm going to do it without fail. Then I'm going to make the big break. But for the time being, I'd better get up, since my train leaves at 5. And he looked over at the alarm clock, which was ticking on the chest of drawers. God almighty, he thought. It was 6:30. The hands were quietly moving forward. It was actually past the half hour. It was already nearly 1:45. Could it be that the alarm had gone off? You could see from the bed that it was set correctly for 4 o'clock. It certainly had gone off, too. Yes, but was it possible to sleep quietly through a ringing that made the furniture shake? Well, he certainly hadn't slept quietly, but probably all the more soundly for that. But what should he do now? The next train left at 7 o'clock. To make it, he would have to hurry like a madman. And the line of samples weren't packed yet, and he himself didn't feel especially fresh and ready to march around. And even if he did make the train, he could not avoid getting it from the boss, because the messenger boy had been waiting at 5 o'clock and would have long ago reported his not showing up. He was a tool of the boss, without brains or backbone. What if he were to say he were sick? But that would be extremely embarrassing and suspicious, because during his 5 years with the firm, Gregor had not been sick even once. The boss would be sure to come with the health insurance doctor and blame his parents for their lazy son and cut off all excuses, quoting the health insurance doctor for whom the world consisted of people who were completely healthy but afraid to work. And besides, in this case, would he be so very wrong? In fact, Gregor felt fine, with the exception of his drowsiness, which was really unnecessary after sleeping so late, and he even had a ravenous appetite. So, as you can see, we're aimed in the direction of what the workaday world and demands of family and job can do to a person. Gregor Samson in particular. Thanks for listening.